So have you ever felt like you didn't have enough strength to go on? I mean, you just felt like you were at the end of the rope. And the road was long, and it felt really heavy, and your spirit felt real weary. Well, today I want to remind you about the powerful truth and the joy of the Lord is our strength. And when your energy runs low, God provides the strength for us to keep pressing forward, not keep moving on, but to press forward. So we're talking about the 31 Days of Healing Prayer today, and you can download it at johnfowler.org. And here's section 1 talking about strength beyond our own. We have to have His strength. And here's the question. So what do you do when your strength isn't enough? You know, it's like there was a guy asked me one time, he said, can God create a rock so big that He can't lift it? Well, no. But I will tell you this. Sometimes in our life, the burden gets so heavy that we can't lift it off of ourselves. So what do you do when your strength is not enough? Well, what we have to do is we have to understand that life brings challenges that pushes us beyond our limits. I made a comment one time from the pulpit of the Pulse Church in Gasway, you're stronger than you think you are. And the reason why is because if you have Jesus Christ in your life, you're going to be stronger than you think you are. Now, in the physical, but look at the spiritual side. As you walk your walk, as you walk with Jesus, man, you are going to continue to grow and get stronger in Him if you have the Bible reading, the prayer, and the time that you're spending with God. So God's strength, His strength doesn't replace our effort, but it empowers our effort. So let me read that again. So God's strength doesn't replace our effort, it empowers it. And so when we lean on Him, we discover a strength that will never run dry. There's a song that's There Is a River. And what you have to understand is you have God's Spirit. If you're a Christian and you have God's Spirit inside of you, you have His Spirit, and His Spirit isn't weak. His Spirit doesn't sin, and we have His Spirit. Now, our flesh is not saved. You know, when people get saved, they think their flesh gets saved. No, the flesh needs to be put on the cross every day. It's going to mess up. It's going to do things it's not supposed to. But your spirit, and your spirit doesn't get weak, and you don't have a little spirit when you get saved and then a big spirit, 30 years later. None of that's true. You have the same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead inside of you. So what you have to do is you have to understand that the joy of the Lord is your strength, and that is Nehemiah 8 and verse 10. So the challenge this week would be this, is that when you feel exhausted, then you need to pray and say, Lord, be my strength, and watch how His presence will lift you. That's all you have to say. Even if it's temptation. See, the flesh doesn't know how to get out of temptation. The flesh knows how to get into it, but the Spirit knows how to get out of temptation. And so you have to listen to the Spirit and allow the Spirit to reign instead of allowing the flesh to basically sideline you or sidetrack you from the mission, which is to serve God, to help others to know Him, and to walk in true faith and strength, and His strength. So there's a connection, and that connection is joy, and we've talked about that. So did you ever know that joy is the most powerful thing to happiness? And see, happiness and joy are two different things. Happiness is just a fleeting thing. I'm happy I bought a new car. I'm happy because I'm going on vacation. I'm happy because the weather's nice. Okay. But joy is something that is steadfast, something that doesn't go away. And the joy of the Lord is your strength. So if you tie the two things, the joy and the strength, together, then you're going to be so powerful. And you're going to be powerful in Jesus, not in yourself. Remember, it's not yourself, but it's Jesus. And so happiness depends on circumstances, like I said, but joy comes from God's presence. And joy gives endurance in trials because it's rooted in his unchanging love, which means to tell you that he is on your side. He loves you. He is not mad at you. He's madly in love with you because he cares about you and he wants to see you succeed. So we're talking about 31 Days of Healing Prayer. You can go to the download, johnfowler.org, free download, not making a dime from it, but it's helping people all over the world, and I encourage you to download it and start your journey today. Joy restores your perspective. Joy will restore your perspective, and it reminds us that God is working even in the storm. See, I don't think, and there's a lot of Southern gospel songs that say he's the anchor in the storm. You're out of your mind if you anchor in the storm. You know what that means? That means you're staying in the storm. When it rains, and God knows it's been a while since it's rained in West Virginia, but if there's a storm, I keep moving. As long as I can see, I'm moving. I'm pressing through it because I want to get out of it. So in thy presence is fullness of joy, and that's Psalm 16:11. And so you should challenge yourself to write down one thing that you think that you're thankful for and ask God to fill you with his joy no matter what your circumstance. Everybody is thankful about something. Certainly you can find something you're thankful for, write it down, and thank God for his joy even in the circumstances that you're going through. And then understand that you're not walking this journey alone. You're walking the journey with God. And when you think that you're walking the journey alone, you need to just stop and say, hey, I need you, God. I need your presence. I need to feel you with me. And we don't base our Christian walk on feeling, but it sure is nice when he puts his arms around us and he helps us and we press through. Life's journey isn't meant to be walking in your own strength, but it's in God's strength. And you'll prevail if you walk in God's strength. You can kick an addiction if you walk in God's strength because that's your spirit. Your spirit isn't addicted. Your spirit doesn't sin. Your flesh does. So if you can figure out how to allow your spirit to control your flesh instead of your flesh controlling you, man, I tell you what, you can do something in this world. Instead of being on your knees with guilt and shame and forgiveness and asking him to forgive you for the same thing over and over and over, your spirit can overcome that. But you have to feed the spirit and starve the flesh. And I'm talking about spiritually. Be careful what you watch. Be careful what you see. Be careful what you click on, because that's who you become. And God's promise is to guide and to uphold us when we trust him daily. And the journey becomes lighter when we walk in his steps and in his spirit. Have you ever went to the beach and you saw somebody's steps there and their foot was bigger than yours and you thought, wow, that's a big foot, and you walk in the sand and it just kind of takes your foot and it's like, man, that's the way God is. His hand will cover your hand. Have you ever shaken hands with somebody and they has a big hands and it just covers your whole hand? That's the way God is, and he loves us that much. So Isaiah 40:29 says this, he giveth power to the faint, and to them that hath no might he increases strength. So there's your promise for today. So take one step of faith this week, whether it's forgiving someone, serving someone, or trusting God with a burden or an addiction, or to do it in his strength and not your own. Because if you do it in your strength, I'm telling you, you are going to fall flat on your head before you even stand up. I shared this on Sunday morning during church. A young woman who was going through a difficult season in her life, and she was raising 3 kids, working 2 jobs, and she admitted that she cried out to God one night saying, Lord, I can't do this anymore. And in that moment, she felt an overwhelming peace, and she began thanking God for the small blessing and her children and their laughter and their warm home and their ability to breathe. And so that shifted from despair to joy because she asked God for strength. And so it didn't change the circumstances immediately, but it changed her. And then it made a difference in the circumstance. See, God is not as far as you think He is. He is right there with you. He loves you. He cares about you. He wants to do big things in your life. First thing you have to do is make sure that you're ready if something happens to you. Are you ready to meet Jesus? If God forbid you cease to exist today, your body dies, would you be ready to go to heaven? And if you're not, we can fix that. All you have to do is say, Father, forgive me of my sins. Come into my life and live. Use me for your kingdom, glory, and honor in Jesus' name. That's what you have to do. He loves you. He cares about you. And download the 31 Days of Healing Prayer on johnfowler.org. It's a journey to physical, spiritual, and emotional wholeness. There's a difference between healing and wholeness. And wholeness is where you need to get to. And you can do that through the 31 Days of Healing Prayer. Let me know what you think, and it's free of charge. And I hope you really, really enjoy that. Thanks for listening and watching the Pulse WV Live, a network that beats to the heart of God. And you can follow me on all the platforms at John Fowler WV. And also, you can follow me on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. We are on all the platforms. Thank you for listening, and have a great day. In Jesus' name.